Welcome to the Fat Cats Rugby podcast, bringing you candid rugby conversations, great interviews and insights into Ugandan rugby, and a touch of rugby in Africa and the world over. Fat Cats Rugby podcast is a product of Fat Cats Media brand for all your audio-visual content needs and equipment hire. Hope you enjoy this episode.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Fat Cats Rugby podcast. We're here to laugh, talk rugby, get pissed. And yeah, my name is Joseph Dungu, and we have a guest who's appearing for the first time. Second time. I didn't know.
In fact, he was actually with us as we were launching.
On the first ever.
Yeah, and we really appreciate him being here for the second time. His name is Zeno Othieno. Owora. He's the director of rugby at Chambogo Rugby Club. We have the usual fat cat, second fattest. That's Ruben. And we have a meme lord. Oh, you've removed the shades. We have Bruno, just on my left. Bruno Akampa. Bruno, how are you doing, man?
You're fatter than me, man.
No.
You okay?
Just heavier.
Yeah. Zeno, how are you doing?
I'm not complaining. Just looking at the battle of fat.
Battle of what? Fat. What have you been up to? Tell us. What have you been up to?
That guy eats. I know what he eats always. And I know Ruben is a vegetarian.
Zeno, what have you been up to? Rugby-wise, life-wise? How is Uganda moving?
Well, there is a lot that Uganda is not doing. But rugby-wise, a lot. It's been off-season. Off-season for the players means on-season for the administrators. And it's now the middle of the transfer season. And for us, it's been a very busy off-season for us in Chambogo. I think we have had the busiest off-season amongst all clubs. We're very ambitious. As usual, our goal still remains the same, to be the top rugby club in the land. And yeah, we're back to the cooking. We've lost players. We're adding players. I think, we've been in court, but I'm not at liberty to discuss that. But the documents are all public. And a lot more. Is it the time to declare why I'm here, or it's not yet?
I think we should save that for a bit later in the conversation.
Yes, Ruben, how are you doing, man?
Good. I'm always good.
Yeah, there's been a lot happening in the media, on Twitter. What has been your major highlight from the past few days since we were last here?
First and foremost, is there ever a week where there is nothing going on? Even weekends where there is no rugby.
Can never
something happening. At least someone is phone with someone's cheek in the rugby circles. I'm just saying, there's always drama, but I think for me this particular week, of course, we have all seen the nominations that have been happening, and we have seen how the TL has been responding to them. People are not amused with the way some of those nominations have been, and also a question that I actually wanted to ask you guys: who amongst you guys has gotten an invite to the awards? Because when we were having a conversation yesterday on this space, a couple of people who we thought might be having invites to these awards also don't have the invite. So, again, and what's the criteria also on that?
Are they scientific? DOR.
So guys,
I think I would be the last man to be invited.
So guys, there is a lot.
Yeah.
Transfer season, Zeno is mentioning that. Ruben is talking about the awards. Bruno, there were some memorial games that happened on the weekend.
Yeah, there was one in Ginger, the Segway Memorial Cup, and the Katso Memorial Cup at the Graveyard. Unfortunately, I was so engaged I didn't attend any.
I attended the Katso Memorial Cup at Impis. It was quite good. You could see guys celebrating even before the start of the game. It was basically the Impis players themselves dividing themselves into two teams. And they had, funny enough, it was a draw. They had water breaks in between, but acted like a pre-season game. It was good to see the guys stretching their legs, teammates, but playing on various teams. Then there were a few standouts. I believe Nyombi Gumire put out a tweet. Yeah, for some of these players, they're just coming fresh from high school, uni, and they're playing good footy. So they had a good run. Boys are banging
I
chickens.
saw their number 10.
Yeah.
I don't know him. The guy was playing at standoff, a chubby kid. Never seen him play. I don't know him. But it's long since I saw a 10 that dynamic. First, he has a good body and is not scared to put it out there. He has a good running angle. He has a good release. There's still a lot to do in conditioning. His kicking is not lacking. So he's a beauty to watch. How he's handled, and maybe I hope the shock of playing top flight doesn't get to him early. If probably they could give him one more season in Intangas to get his body right and to get his brain up. But he already has his game ready. You can't take it away from him. Given what I watched, he has the right instinct. So I think, I loved watching him. And well, I did watch that game. Personally, it's hard to tell people who Katso is. But it was quite a beautiful rugby player to watch in his day. Belonged to the last class of impis who won the sevens. I knew him from my interactions. I met him, I think, East African school games for the first time. That was 2005. Then over the time, we got to interact on a casual level, but because our circles are similar, but I still think it's wonderful to keep his memory going.
Yeah.
Yeah, he deserves it.
Talking about the Seguia Cup, I did not travel to Ginger. I guess none of you guys did. But the information I got is that it was a 26-all draw.
Eight.
Rather, 8. Yeah,
all.
it's the Impis at some memorial that. Yeah, so it was an 8-all draw in Ginger between the Buffaloes and the Ginger Hippos that hosted the game at Dam Waters. I think that game served as a good gesture for remembering and appreciating the work that the late Robert Seguia did at both clubs. Yeah, and I think it's a tradition that will keep going on. From the photos I saw, the widow to the late was present. I saw Ian Walker from Buffaloes. He's one of the heads there. And the captains, they posed for a photo moment, and that was beautiful. May the souls keep resting in peace. So, guys, Zeno, in Uganda Rugby, what do you think is the mode of transfer of players? How do you think this is done? Because at times you just see players appearing for training, and you can conclude that this person has crossed. Yesterday I saw a photo. I think I shared it on the Fat Cats group. There was Michael Amolo appearing in a photo at Chadondo under the lights.
And club number what for Michael Amolo, if we are to just assess.
As a person who has been around Zeno, take us through what you think of the culture around Uganda Rugby transfers.
One, I always believe players should act like to their best interest. If it works for you, please do it. I mean, you never know where your luck will be. For Mike Amolo in particular, I think it has been an open secret that he will be at Heathens. I think I saw him in the warm-up sevens play for Heathens, the beat-out seven.
He actually played for Buffaloes.
Buffaloes, yeah. So I think he was always on the line. He's coming in from the Hippos, right?
He's coming in from Pirates, not
From
Pirates.
Hippos, no. He had
Hippos.
crossed from Pirates to
yeah.
Hippos.
He had crossed from
So
Pirates
guys,
to
let's count the
Hippos.
teams that guy has been at.
No, okay, let's just go back. He's now with.
I found him at
Chadon.
Warriors.
No, okay, we're going back.
Okay.
He's crossed from Hippos to Heathens, then go back before he was at Pirates, before he was at Warriors.
No, before he was at
Warriors, Rhinos.
Yeah,
Before Rhinos, he was at Cobbs.
Even Box.
Man.
You don't call it a journeyman.
Box as well.
He-
Box.
He
You can't count that.
reminds me of Nicholas Anelka.
Guys,
Well,
what
that's
does
what
a
should
journeyman mean? Does it? Because Zeno
Journey-
seems to disagree.
Journeyman means he's failed at those places. That's why he's had to be transferred.
Has he really been, apart from a few, has he really succeeded at these places?
What I individually think of Mike Amolo, in the last 20 years, from 2002, when I've been very keen on rugby, I think I've met only one or two players with more talent than he has. And unfortunately, none of them ever played for the national team. The other being Alfred Karekaho. I think generally, if there was someone who was born to play rugby, it was Mike Amolo. it is so sad that we didn't even get to inch. Of course, many people we could put the blame on the player, but we could also put the blame on the system, and the system we've perpetuated, a two-tier system. So, well, for me, I wouldn't look more at the journey or where it's been or whether it's been successful. Did we put the structure in place for him to succeed at any place? Because the little time we saw him play, or we've seen him play, we've liked what we see. But have we enhanced it, or we've gone around it? So for me, that's how I would look at his journey in summary.
Then also, is he the only player that has had similar challenges? Because I think there are a couple of players. What do you think of that?
I would view his case on case-to-case basis. I think some players have done worse and have gotten away with it because of their loyalties.
Guys, but you see, Zeno makes a fair point because, guys, yeah.
No, but you look at it from this point of view. I mean, if you, I'm actually very surprised that from Zeno's dialogue thus far on this podcast, he's being very, very mellow, very, very nice. I don't know what has happened to him over the years, but come on, guys. If we look at the number of clubs that have been there, that he has gone to, that Michael Amolo has gone to, and the fact that, let's say, there's a similar result, what's the common factor in all this?
Money.
It's Michael Amolo, right?
It's money. Because...
So let me ask. Yes, we understand money is a very important factor, but don't other players need money? And they thrive in the particular environments or organizations that they are. You want to tell me all the other players who choose to remain and maybe focus on particular clubs are getting enough money?
Zeno, so
I still think loyalty to the wrong is not loyalty.
Ruben is trying to tell you that Amolo is not settling for less. You're not giving him his dimes, like he expects, he'll move.
So he then is going to give him the money.
I think they will.
Are you under the Chadondo semi-pro contract?
Bruno.
Amolo.
What was he getting at Pirates?
Yes.
I'm not at liberty to say that. I'm a fan. I'm a Pirates fan.
Bruno knows. He may not know.
I know. I'm just a fan, but Amolo is also one of the most talented rugby players I've ever seen. I mean, it was always fun seeing him in a Pirates jersey, but Amolo is also one guy who might never show up for training or even a game. Even when he trains during the week, he doesn't show up on a Saturday during the game.
Having played in the center with him at Warriors, I can attest to that.
Amolo is one guy who might change phone numbers in 2 weeks. He changes like 3 times in 2 weeks. So I would blame it partly on his character, and I wouldn't say lifestyle because I don't know his lifestyle off the pitch. But good to see him back in a top club. Maybe he's going to perform. We hope so.
But I think it's high time people like us start to also talk about some of these things. How much do we put ourselves in a position to enlighten some of these players, or to educate them? I mean,
Educate them about what?
By the time we came into this game, there was no money. At this point, there is still no money. So why are you coming to an amateur sport thinking about earning directly from the sport?
I wouldn't blame the person who wants to.
Let me first finish what I'm trying to say. I understand you are supposed to have certain things catered for, rightfully so. But how about we encourage these boys to get certain skills, skill A, skill B, maybe be able to do something, and then you leverage off the networks you get from the sport to better yourself. Because it is so unrealistic from the case studies we have seen that player X or player Y is directly earning from rugby, and how long does that usually last? And it always reaches a point where there's a bottleneck and money is not given, and then the player is going to start acting up because they're not getting their money. We have these clubs themselves are struggling to pay for basic things, ambulance, medical. We are still figuring out how to cover medical, which should be the most important thing as a sport. we have no stakeholders slash sponsors who are also long term in the game. But we think we're in a position to actually pay guys worthy money. I'm not talking about peanuts, the kind of money that will help you have a decent home, maybe have a decent meal, and survive throughout the
Guys,
month.
I think we should now discuss more transfer news. Yeah,
No, but
Bruno.
you see, when you're talking about a skill, why do you always think rugby is not a skill? Two,
It is a skill.
exactly. Two, why do we blame the player and excuse the person who promised them the money in the first case? Because that would be my point of contention. If no promises were made, understandably. But if certain promises were made, and by law, I think legal counsel is nearby, we can ratify an agreement below 50 million in words. We may not sign it on. So Dunga, I can tell you, I'm giving you 49 million. And that counts as a valid agreement. So yes, instead of only holding players responsible and say, no, this shouldn't pay you, why shouldn't we hold the people who tell them who will pay you in the first place responsible? I think that we've gone around the other circle too much because it takes two to tango. The player just doesn't arrive at a certain club or certain point. Yeah. So if we are now very sure player X is a mercenary and we see him at your club, we have to know why he's at your club, who made that commitment, and who is going to follow it up. That is why more successful sports have the Professional Players Association for issues like this.
Why doesn't rugby have a players' association, by the way? Does it?
By World Rugby stipulations, you can, but you can have an amateur players association. Yes. Because if you say
that is not there in the game, I don't think we have any form of organization amongst the players.
But you see, how do we
to be able to
identify?
stand up for their interests?
How do I identify a player? I last played a rugby game in 2016. Am I a player? Is Dungu a player?
Is Bruno a player?
Bruno plays touch rugby. He talks about it all the time.
As
You guys, I already asked you to discuss more transfer news. Bruno, what does the grapevine have?
It's been a silent one on transfers. I don't know why. I don't know if it's
Deadline day
because
is 2 days.
I don't know if it's because clubs are broke or because the boys have been in play for some good time. I mean, the Sevens have just ended the last circuit. But some of the rumors I know of course, the confirmed ones are Amoro and the Kenyan two heathens.
And so he has been
Don't they
confirmed
have
after
like
I
two
played.
Kenyans now?
Oh,
Yes,
The Heathens.
they have Shadow Monono,
And,
Mukoko,
uh-huh.
and this guy who came in from Strathmore.
Yeah, they have to, as far as I remember.
which makes heathens one of the
And
For the past transfers,
They have the heaviest cut.
yeah they've been making some
Shopping.
big
both
transfers.
forwards. Where are they going to play all these forwards?
They have the best forwards in the league.
Have
Then,
they lost any
sorry?
players?
Sorry.
Has Heathens lost any players?
Yeah, for now, I'm pursuing Cyrus Watum very seriously.
Zeno says he's pursuing Cyrus Watum.
The rumors I heard was a collapsed deal between Wathuma and
Zeno.
Chambogo. Yes.
I'm innocent.
The deal can collapse, but I still have 2 days. I have 2 days, so I could make magic or I could fail, but most likely I want to
Should the
succeed.
fat cats run yourself?
Guys, Bruno is still giving us transfer news.
The other rumor I know about is the transfer from Hobbs to Chambogo. One of the most skilled players I've ever seen also in Ugandan rugby. Alhaj Manano.
That one failed. It never even was on the table.
Collapsed deal now.
It wasn't
Now you
even
confirm?
on the table. We never thought about it.
Okay.
I can confirm that.
Okay.
We've never thought about Manano, and we don't even think about him in future.
Why do you sound like it's our ex?
And he's a Chambogo guy, by the way.
Yes, we gave him his time. It's time for him to prosper elsewhere.
Okay. Then the other rumor I have about is a player from Rhinos to Pirates. Not yet confirmed. It's a rumor. Some player called, I think, SB.
What does SB stand for?
I'm not sure. That's
It's
the
now
name.
the
That's
studio
the
player
rugby
in
name.
Eastern-
They see you play with initials. Like, that's like a DJ. You're like, who's DJ? No, who cares? You see, don't go.
And a
just
possible transfer from Soroti from a Soroti based team to I think Sailors.
And there's just this that I've always been hearing every transfer window. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I think it's bound to happen.
Mm.
There's been so much rumor around Pius Ogena moving to Chadondo. And Dungu is
Dungu would confirm
He
that.
has something. But there's been that rumor for so long. It's like as if it's something that's calling him back home in quotes. Any comments, Mr. Joseph Dungu? You look like you know something.
I know nothing,
You
man.
look like you know something.
Dungu, I can confirm. I can confirm.
Yeah?
We are negotiating with Cobs over
Oh.
the transfer of Musa Mwonge from Chambogo to Cobs.
Wait,
It has already been
I'm
official.
confused.
I can confirm that as well.
Yes, we are already. It's already an open.
I'm
transfer.
hearing Musa Mwonge, I'm hearing Cobs.
Yes.
Yes,
from
that's
Chambogo.
correct.
Oh, Cobs has to buy Musa. Is he fit, first of all, before we talk
That's
about
not my
that?
problem.
Last time I saw him,
From
Musa is making a comeback.
he did last.
From
10 minutes.
Chambogo, we can confirm.
I came on as a sub.
From Chambogo, we can confirm is a perfect product for Cobs. Yes, we can confirm that.
Is this a
We are getting a good
Interesting.
buy? I'm confused. I
Yes.
don't know what's been.
Musa is this kind of player who likes proving his point. Yeah,
Is this why he has been quiet?
he believes he can get back on that playing tough, score tries, drive the team forward, and I think he's the right player to join Cobs at this moment because you see, Cobs competitors are Heathens, Pirates, and they also all have an engine. I mean, Pirates has lost Balagade, and it's time now to see how
Musa
Alex
has an
Saturinda.
engine.
Yes,
Musa has an engine.
Musa does.
When did you last
Musa.
see him play?
He's been out at some time.
As his former director of rugby, I can
You saw him
confirm
at Chambogo. He played 3 minutes.
that is a
One
rumor.
carry is a stat I will give you. Before you say
From then on, he has become fitter,
Okay.
Okay.
and I believe Cobs are receiving a good product.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you want to bang your bad days on the head by Skawa.
no, but you
Some
see,
guys, Ruben,
I
it's
would
like you're not
show
having
them
any
folks
respect for Musa.
Me, I'm just basing on what I last saw, which was last season.
Ruben,
For example,
It's like you have no respect
The
for
buyer
Musa
is-
It's
Mwongo.
not about respect.
The
The
buyer
buyer
is
is one
happy.
that steps on that pitch. I'm just asking
Ruben.
the questions that we
Ruben.
are all trying to be
Ruben.
nice about.
Ruben, the buyer is happy, the seller is happy. It's a good
That's what the buyer
transaction.
is
Interesting.
asking.
Guys, anyway, I was still
No disrespect.
I was still
to
talking
Musa
about how the transfer dynamics could leave certain teams. Yeah, if Pirates do not have Balagade anymore, and they now have to rely on Alex Aturinda and
Sydney
Desire
Gongodio.
Area.
We also
Sydney,
have
yeah,
Sydney Gongodio.
Sydney Gongodio has been a good development right from the sevens. I think it's now his time to step onto the starting team and show that he can fill a void. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it will be a nice shift. I
Yeah.
mean, for some of the last games of last season, Balagade was injured, and we are putting in a shift even without Desire. So we were putting in a shift with Mubarak Wandera and Sidin Gongodia. So I mean, Kevin is a talented guy. We will miss him, but still, we have the boys to make a shift, and we'll have to beat some of the top teams.
what do you make of the Heathen squad now that Cyrus Watu may not be with them in the next season? Now they have, I think,
If
veteran
I'm
Hooker.
losing Musa, I should be able to bring in a caliber player like Musa. That's why I want Cyrus.
Yes,
It's always good on your team to have a player who has been through adversity at every level. Cyrus is a professional player. I love his attitude in training. I love his encouragement, and also he grew up in Chambogo. So he has a history that predates his playing for any club. So Chambogo is home to him. So his expression of interest is very welcome to us because his experience is invaluable. His caliber is unmeetable. So yes, that is the one transfer I'll not hide from. The others I may just shock you on the deadline day, but that one I want it.
As-
Guys,
the
what I
case.
can promise is expect shockers.
What's the status of Oketayota at Cobs?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Hey, how much do you think to us?
I have no idea. Guys, I want us to talk about the awards happening on Friday, 18, November 18. Zeno, what's your feeling around these awards?
I'm not invited.
There's always he's so calm and humble these days. I don't know.
Of course, you wouldn't be invited. What do you think of the categories?
Zeno, in what capacity did you hope to be invited?
Yes.
As director of Rugby Chamber,
But first of all,
it warrants.
how were the categories made? Because I saw a category where they invited 4 international coaches as nominees, and then the one was left out. So should we assume the under-20 coach for men is the worst coach because he was the only one who wasn't nominated? Because all the other 4 were nominated, including a guy who got a hiding to Kenya. Usually that already bars you. If you lose a derby that way, everyone says, no, you can't be nominated. We can't have 2 coaches who lost derbies seriously being nominated. But okay, all the 3 of them lost poorly to Kenya. So,
Then, Ruben, you have
so
any?
me, I think Tolbert should have been nominated alone. Let me tell the young guys, you didn't even make it.
they should have just called him to get an award like it's life
That
achievement.
whole thing of I understand what they're trying to say, but it's like even the way they came up with those nominations, like as if the phrasing is just wrong. International coach,
Domestic.
then domestic.
So,
Like,
for example,
it doesn't make sense.
who are the 4 coaches nominated for domestic?
I don't know. We have to just
There's
Theo.
Richard Lumu,
There's a Theo,
Marshall Chumkam.
chumkam.
Theo, Coach Lumu.
Yes.
Now,
Marshall.
okay,
And you see, no, Coach
And
Bobby
Bobby.
is not even
Then
the coach at
Bobby
Pirates.
was-
Yes,
was,
he is. He does a
director
few
of
coaching
Rugby
duties.
also.
but he's the
I
director
understand that what's his
Marvin.
name?
Coach Marvin Odong.
Yes, Marvin Odong is the
You need to
coach.
understand, is this for this previous season or is it for like a wider?
Now, Othieno, is Othieno the head coach at Eden?
Yes.
But we saw Kevin, we saw
Tolly.
Tolly.
So, but
So
what
how can Ginger Hippos win their first ever trophy? And their coach
And their
is
coach
not
is
nominated.
I think these guys needed to consult. Yeah,
Who?
they needed to consult.
They
the
just
club
needed
chairman.
a select committee.
They needed to
Independent select
consult.
committee. They just needed, I think they needed a select committee to handle that.
Are you trying to say how sure they didn't have a select committee?
But you know the funny thing is, we do not even know the guys we're selecting. Do you get what I mean?
That's the thing.
We keep saying these guys. We
There's
can't put
something
them
that-
to them.
that
It's not a
say-
technical team.
Okay, who are the individuals of the technical team?
You look
Then-
like-
Okay, for example,
Then
when we're watching the Grammys, they tell you this has been verified by PricewaterhouseCoopers as our auditors. And so this prize presented by this, for this, on basis of this. For best screenplay, let's say best actor in a drama series for this particular drama, yeah, for this year, as a supporting actor. So yes, I get where you're coming from. The idea of awards is brilliant in itself, and it's something that has to gain more permanence. But I saw some people saying, let's excuse them, it's the first time in 8 years. But if you've been hibernating for 8 years, you come up with a better idea.
Yeah, right.
Because the things we're doing, we're not doing them for the first time, and we're not the first people to do them. So you have to have what they call the extra mile. You take 8 years off, you should be studying the situation to create a better product. Yeah, so
Zeno, in some of the categories, there were huge omissions. Which one stood out for you? Personally, I'll speak for Philip. Guys,
no, me, I think the category that stood out for me was the fact that they forgot to name outstanding watermen or captains, outstanding team managers, outstanding physios,
Outstanding fan base.
outstanding fans, outstanding grounds. These are things that directly affect how we play the game.
Right.
Yeah. Outstanding, like the categories should be broader than that.
yeah, try to show some inclusivity. Let the fans know. Let the various venues that host these pitches know.
Yes.
Let the physios. But for referees, we hosted a space the other day, and for the referees, people said it creates a bit of bias because people would look at a certain referee as not good enough because you ordered the other. So rather, it would be a recognition. Yeah, you get what I mean? Like recognize Sama for being one of the most commendable referees this season. You get what I mean? Yeah. And
also, a whole division of rugby was ignored. Because I don't think even the top flight was acknowledged enough, and the lower tiers, and the schools. So, what fans were...
Maybe like I was saying that it's the first time in a couple of years. So
Ruben,
we didn't
that's not
start from zero.
That's mediocrity, man.
We can't... If
That's
you're
fine.
reinventing...
when you argue your point, I believe you have to look at both sides.
But you see, Ruben, you even care for these guys, but do you think
I don't
they care
for them,
about...
But one thing I have come to realize is sometimes you have to look at both sides of the coin. You have to understand that the way we think might not be the way they think. It might be not right to you, but there is a reason why it has happened the way it has happened. There is a reason. We might not know. The biggest problem we have is that there is lack of transparency in the way things have always been communicated. So that is one of the challenges that we've always had. So we do not know why they have reached those particular decisions to make those choices. It could be resources, and they have to maybe cram up all the nomination.
But guys,
it could be something.
Ruben,
Then
look
they
at
would have
this.
just made
That's
a
so we
player...
can only
Zeno,
speculate.
Then they would have made a player's choice dinner.
Guys, Players' Choice Award.
No, player's choice dinner. We call representative of teams to have a dinner to commemorate rugby. If we are really tied for resources, that would be cheaper, and it would be more more inclusive.
Oh, and guys, speaking of the... Now, ideally, this is what we would have wished, yeah? We have 15s and 7s, yes? Awarded separately. 15s men's player of the year. Who are your nominees?
15s, I would go for Joachim Chisano,
Number 1,
Ivan Magomu.
2,
Why?
2,
I would also go for Jacob Ochen from Hippos.
3,
Then I would also go for Joseph Aredo.
fine, 4. Tell me your 4.
My 4.
Yes.
Before I tell you my 4, let me tell you about the Fred and Winnie B&B, which is located
Go ahead.
in Kisasi. It has 10 self-contained private bedrooms, a fully equipped kitchen, power backup system, Wi-Fi, laundry services, a chef to get us here every meal, a sumptuous buffet, breakfast with a choice of selected tropical fruits and juice. Pick up and drop off to and from Entebbe International Airport, as well as local transportation for getting around and or for up-country trips can be arranged if booked in advance. For bookings, call 0778 933559. And as we're going into the festive season, just tell them a fat cat sent you for amazing, amazing discounts. Looking at my standouts for this particular year,
15s.
15s. We're looking at 15s or 7s. What are we looking at? Are we combining them?
No. 15 separate
15s
from
and
7s.
15s. So we start with 15s, right?
Ruben, what I'm asking, yeah? Give me 4 nominees for your men's 15s player of the year.
Men's 15th player of the year.
4 nominees.
It's tricky because now, like, person like Philip, where do you put him? He has played both.
Ruben, stick to the script. Give me your 4.
My point has somewhat in it.
Oh.
Somewhat. Because he has played outstandingly for his club. He has played outstandingly. And remember, he has also played on the 15th national team.
Exactly. Then have him there.
It's tricky. 'Cause
It's so tricky. Meritocracy.
Get your 4 nominees, man.
anyway, let's talk about Joachim Kisano.
Yes. 1.
Let's talk about Philip Okorash. Definitely
2.
I'll have him there. Let's talk about Taufik Bagalana.
3.
Let's talk about Joseph Aredo.
4. Now, guys, there's a name I want to suggest, but I don't know where they fall. There's a guy called Innocent Gwokto. Guys, Innocent Gokto had a stellar 15th season. Yeah, it was mad. He was cutting through defenses like a hot knife on butter. Yeah,
That's
Was he
right.
doing it
he was scoring tries
Was he doing it every day?
against each team he played. He literally scored. He scored very good tries.
Right.
Very good tries in the midfield. Coming to the sevens,
Do you think he was a standout player in the hidden setup only?
I really do. I
Because
really
there are a
do.
lot of good players in each of these
I would-
teams.
I
In the
would-
hidden
I would-
backline,
for us
Gokto
to-
was mad.
I would give
He
it
earned
to
his
Kato
national team
Reynolds.
call-up because of his good season in
For us-
I would
15th.
give it to Kato Reynolds over Gokto.
For us to select the top people or the cream that we are going to put as our nominees, we need to identify one of the aspects would be that is this one or the first or the second in regards to being standout in their club, influential for them to reach where the club reached, influential to reach where the national team reached if it had any milestones that it reached. That's one.
Then
thing we
you'd
need to
choose.
consider.
You'd end up choosing the most top scorer,
Yes.
Scott.
For me, I only have two nominees for the best 15.
Who are those?
Joachim Chisano and Pius Mpoza.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Very, very.
Pius had also a nice season.
Guys,
I think he was the MVP of the league by far, by miles ahead.
I think he was most improved player, not MVP.
and
Well,
guys,
given the job and the team,
we
was
appreciate the way Pius plays. Pius has this kind of agility, strength that you may take for granted until you're on that field and you see the work he's actually putting in.
His aggressiveness never dies on the pitch
Man is
until the
very
last
good.
minute.
Yeah, and Zeno can attest to that. I mean, he's one guy who has believed in Pius, right?
for this season.
Yeah,
I couldn't escape his work rate. I thought he would be in France, but I
And-
think God works in mysterious
And guys-
ways.
He was not ready.
For who?
Which back row player were you going to draw?
Who did we take anyway?
The
I
back
think
row
we
we
s-
took Scott. Back row we took who did we take? Jacob.
Chisano.
Chisano.
Mhm.
Who else did we take? Was it thinking
Jacob started at the bench.
Back row.
Who?
Was Koba feeling
Among-
at some point? We took Among. Yes.
Among.
Because it was a switch between Among and Koma at some point in one of those games.
Oh, Komakech went to France, by the way.
As a lock.
He has an accent these days.
As a lock.
In case you find
But you
him-
see, for me, my argument was sometimes you select players on purity of what they can do. In this country, there are two numbers that we fail to figure out: number 6 and number 12. So I think that's my argument. You choose a player purely based on that ability to do that role, rather than trying to convert a lock into a back row, or whatever reason we didn't have anyone to slow down the rocks, and we are still having that ugly experiment of Pius at 12. Oh God! But anyway, God save us.
Guys,
Yeah, anyway, I think let's just wait for those awards and see what comes out of it.
If we are invited.
Yeah, maybe we'll watch.
but guys, I also won't lie, man. I feel like I needed to be at the awards
Because even
and
photographers were not
use my
invited.
drip, man.
Even
Showcase
photographers.
some drip.
Which you have the right drip for the awards.
Guys, I have drip, bro. I have drip.
Photographers were not invited.
I don't
Who's
get
going
to
take
use it.
pictures. Don't.
So,
Yeah,
Photographers. Who's the best rugby photo from the year?
guys.
Those are things we should be.
Oh my guys, we should appreciate those guys. I was joking with Edgar the other day on Twitter, and you see, this is one passionate guy. He came in at a stage when rugby was not given so much attention. That's when Kawo was moving out, and we needed to rely on photos to see the action that happened at the various sites. Yeah,
Right.
and we appreciate you, Edgar, wherever you are. If you're listening to this,
Isn't this the time to recognize Kawo for being a reliable side chick?
by the way,
Kawo,
I've not been surprised.
Bloody
that
side
Kawo is
door.
going to be
There's
strong
that one.
because I was actually really happy.
There's a way
Very
Kao
NBS
chipped in
Sports.
Toro Sevens, man.
yeah, it jumped in, and that side there you holla at, man.
The man can't
Shit
be
is
on
tight.
a dry spell.
Tight, bro. How come through, man? And we appreciate those guys. You guys are doing amazing work.
Speaking of Kawo coming through, Zeno, you had talked about having something you wanted to put out there.
Yeah. I'm actually here for a simple reason. I'm here to declare my intention. I'm tired of really complaining, so I'm declaring my intention to run for Vice President Technical for the union next year. in the election.
Interesting.
That's
On whose
interesting.
team are you running? That's what I want to understand.
I didn't know there were political parties, but
To a certain extent, they are there. We have to
Independent.
admit.
Guys, who is the
We
current,
don't call them political parties, but they are there.
who is the current vice president technical?
I think it's Solaro Oscar,
Yeah, Olaro.
Not Ramsey?
Ramsey is CTO.
chief technical
Okay.
officer.
Okay.
So for me, my agenda is clear, and I think by qualification, I run the ladder, and by experience, I run the ladder. My current posting is with Chambogo Rugby as the director of rugby. Before that, I was serving as the head coach, interim. Before that, I worked, the teams I've worked with in various capacities. As a player, the first team I played for was, of course, Ontario Rugby. That I did for both one-day level, then Chambogo Rugby, the university and the club side. I also played for the Mongers, both as a player and as a captain and as a committee member. Part of our achievements with Mongers included having the lobby to have Entebbe Town Council award us the Busambaga grounds and the initial plan on how, the blueprint on how we wanted to run. I also played for Warriors, which I also captained, and I was also very instrumental in sourcing for them for sponsors. I served a good ban. I took time off.
A ban you deemed unfair.
Life is not fair.
Okay. Before we go very far, Zeno in front of our cameras here. Did you pour that alcohol?
On the no,
The case is still open.
official.
I still say I didn't.
You?
So I still say I didn't.
Okay.
For my comeback, I have served I serve both on the rugby committee for Ontario Rugby and as an assistant coach on occasion. And as Ontario Rugby, we've come from being whipping boys to being one of the four best schools of rugby in the country, both by participation and by results. We've gotten to, in my time there, we've won one school's championship, and we've gotten to the final twice. In the sevens, we've won once, and we've been emerged. This year we emerged third. We've participated in East Africa School Games 8 times consecutively without fail, which is a huge achievement for us. I've also served as a director of basketball for my home club, but that is not important to this. I have, for Chambogo, I resumed the operations there in 2019 as part of the alumni committee who had to revive the club. And we've come from being the bottom of the table to being not granted leave, not being granted promotion in the boardroom, but two other things. I have a degree in sports management. I've worked with the Ministry of Education specifically.
Guys, this CV is long. It's heavy.
I'm
If
talking
they
about what
requested
I've
for
done.
3 pages, this guy is in 5.
Specifically, the Department of Sports, and some of the things that I'm proud of doing is the kids football. When people see the under 20 playing football, in 2013 we implemented the kids football program. That's a 10-skill program that ensures that all primary school kids who play football at national level are competent in the 10 basic skills of football. We duplicated it for athletics. Those were the 2 sports that we focused on then later on netball. And we're not shocked that our under 20 football and netball and athletics are dominating the continent. For those of us who've been in the system, I was certified as a teacher trainer for at least kids athletics and kids football. So when it comes to the technical competences of running a sport, I understand them. 2, what do I really want? I read an article from Anesta Korebirunji. There are a lot of silos that happen in rugby.
I wanted us to touch on a bit, but you can go
And on a technical level, we have 365 days. The first thing I want, rugby runs a 365-day calendar, meaning all year long, rugby is happening. And sometimes seasons overlap. You start in 20, then the seasons don't lap with the years. So sometimes it becomes hard, for example, to plan a memorial game in November when your season begins in November. So maybe introducing the 3-year planning cycle so that we know these charity events of rugby, they attract a lot of money, sponsorship, and new people to the game. 2, competence. What I want us to build a profile of a coach and a player at under, because the lowest competition now we have is the under 14. So I want us to build a blueprint for the player and the coach at under 14, so that we know that a coach at under 14 has to have these basic skills. And if a player of under 14 can't interpret this rule, we mark the coach. We don't mark the coach by the score. We mark the coach by the competence of players. How do they react? And then also in that, we build the under 14 referee, so that at every level, we have both officials. Then also increase volunteer participation, because we are all here as the volunteers. But do we recognize volunteers? Do we recognize the parents who put their kids to play rugby, the people who support the game every day, who coach kids at school level and at tag rugby level?
I think you make a very good point, because you see, we've raised, Uganda has produced a couple of very excellent players, but it's not until, say, that player is injured or that player is getting a global award that we get to see their parents. Let's get these stories documented. Let's get to know who is the mother to this person, who is the father, who is the guardian.
Who is the support system?
Exactly.
Where does he fall back? For example, the case of Amolo would be avoided if we knew who keeps Amolo.
Yeah, I think it's important
also,
for us
yes,
to get in touch with the families.
Yes.
Rugby is a family sport.
Yes, and
yeah.
Yes, so that's the first thing that I would want to do, to have volunteers, more volunteer participation in the sport. That is the technical aspect. How much power do volunteers have over this sport, and how do we reward? For example, if under 14 you do well, we recommend you for an under 16 badge. If you do well at under 16, we recommend you for an under 18 badge. If you're very good at under 18, we recommend you to be on the coaching panel of the under 20 national team. So that we don't only have an opaque system of, oh, so now Ruben is the coach. Hey, okay, fine, he has the papers. So we don't just get the qualification of level 1, level 2. It comes because you want to do this. And even the outsider, because someone can decide to become a rugby fan because their kid is playing in S1, but then they end up being a rugby referee. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, I get the drift.
Yeah, so that is the kind of continuity I want. First, at that level, because I feel we've lost touch. Then increased participation. What does it take for our up-country teams to support? Do we go through the local government, or do we approach the teams directly?
Rather than doing quick fix things.
Well, if it's a fix, it's quick. Why not? Sometimes it works. You're thirsty, take water.
Yes, at times it's hard supporting Zeno, but I love his mind, and I think he's the right guy.
There is a lot that Zeno would want to say about that, and there's a lot that is on offer. But me, I just want to ask one question. What do you think about the voting system that is currently used in rugby?
One, by declaring my candidacy, because of my history and because I've been around for some time, I can be sure if we were to vote tomorrow, I would lose perfectly.
Does that call for loopholes in the voting system?
It doesn't call for loopholes, but it calls for
bias.
How we recognize the game. One, there's a lot of old boyism. We didn't go to school with you. We don't know you. It's a valid reasoning. I mean, you can't vote a person you don't know. Two, I think, yes, the criteria is open for registration. And even if, because the way clubs are awarded votes is quite literally transparent. You get 2 votes for having a team. You get 2 more votes for having a junior team. You get 2 more votes for having a ladies team. You get 1 more vote for having a facility. So yes, I get it. There is a lot of balkanization because Chadondo has 14 votes, and Pirates has 7, and Cobs has 4, and Impis has 7.
What do you think Cobs has 4? I think
Cobs box.
There's Panthers now.
6.
No facility.
What happened to that other team you guys were supposed to create? There was something that was supposed to happen there when there was a bit of a in quotes split.
Ruben, you're digressing.
So
Zeno.
for me, the voting aside, you see,
He
now
knows.
those are the decisions the technical committee advises you on. Like, you don't have, and then also to have the transparency in these selection panels. We don't know who selects the under 20. We don't know who selects the national team. We don't know why the composition of this. Yes, we don't know why we have coach X and Y. Because I'm hearing on Twitter, Leo was appointed coach. He had never watched a women's game. But
you see,
by and large, international team appoint coaches without them even knowing where the country is.
Zeno,
Right.
Zeno,
Appointed
Zeno
Hector
makes
Cooper,
fair point. But I feel
Egyptian
like
coach.
he's coming
You
to
never knew where Egypt
get back
was.
at certain guys. Don't you feel like he's seeking vengeance?
I wanted to ask something like, for now, if you got into that position, would you work with Kasasa? That's one of the names I always see you tweet about.
I don't think Kasasa is competent to work anyway.
You guys,
Say that about the man.
No,
Unless we have
with the
good
man.
plans.
Look, I am a director of rugby. I see emails every day. Yeah, for Chambogo fixtures, fixtures. What else? Scheduling, transfers. They all run through his office, and I have had the same complaint about it. I don't think he's competent enough as a man to get a job anywhere.
You guys, unless we have more jazz questions, anything you guys want to talk about?
Just one thing before we leave this, and I want you to just briefly touch on it, not go into detail. So, if you think that the system is not favorable, let me use that word. How are you going to stand for an election that you think is not viable?
Look, there are two options. I'm going to win or lose. Yeah?
Okay.
And I'm very sure of that. But I'm going to present my points clearly. If the winner chooses to use them, the whole sport wins. Yeah? How he implements them, that's up to him. If I win, the better. I know what to do. If I lose, I'll have put there what I wanted to say. My message will be clear, because all this is going to be written down, what I plan to do. If it's thrown out, that's not my case. And we've seen it. Politicians world over always adopt the loser's manifesto. Right?
But you guys, Zeno is a muyaye. Anyway, guys,
Why, Dungu?
Yeah.
I've sat here as a gentleman for 30 minutes.
Anyway, away from that, we'll probably have a particularly focused podcast where Zeno can come and give us his written manifesto and expound on it properly. Before we come to the end, just looking at a recently written article by journalist, or I call him international journalist because he has started traveling outside Uganda. Ernest Akore Birungi of Owora. For those that haven't, they should check out the rugby section of their website. This is not an ad in any way, but just check it out. I think it's a really good article. Where the headline was URU clubs working in silos, but rugby still has something to salvage. So maybe in summary, I don't know if you guys have had a chance to look at it, but in summary, it was about this previous weekend. A weekend where the Uganda Rugby Union called for an AGM where they expect teams to attend. Cobbs had something happening. I don't know if it was its own AGM. I don't know what was it. What was it, Dugu?
It was a get together sort of catch up.
that's correct.
Get together. All right. It was a get together. There were the memorial games. There was some friendlies as well. Mongas and
Mongas and Rhinos, yes.
Then there was also National
Then,
Women's Sevens.
that's I say that how the union is calling an AGM on the day when they are having women's national sevens.
It was an SGM, not an AGM.
It was a special general meeting.
And it was the constitutional amendments and the debate to have.
The question was,
Guys, that meeting didn't happen actually. It was
yeah,
aborted.
because there was no quorum. But the question was, where were they expecting club members to come and attend this from? Yet it's the same people that are supposed to be maybe serving in particular roles in the different aspects wherever they work. So I don't know if it goes back to what he talked about in regards to planning, that how can we have all those things happening in one weekend? Do they communicate with clubs about what their plans are before they put what they want? And in a sport where we already talk about how meager our resources are, why is it that we are trying to have resources spread at an SGM, and then we have national sevens and maybe other endeavors. So doesn't that also just show that sometimes we shoot ourselves in the foot? I don't know what your thoughts are on that, you guys. Bruno.
I think for some good time, many things have happened in this sport of ours of rugby, and realized we ride on either randomness or I would say weak courtesy. Because I wonder how you call for an SGM and there are over 4 club activities happening.
In defense of that, there was only one union activity happening that day.
Which one was that?
The national
sevens. But still,
it's a one day. It was just a one-day activity. Couldn't they wait for one day and now call it?
That SGM have happened there. You say it's an SGM, but according to Ernest's article, it is an AGM. But anyway,
usually the quorum for an SGM is usually technical members of the clubs.
Which goes back to my question: would that have happened if it was the men's sevens going on
Well,
the day of the men's sevens?
Like I said,
very
if
important
I was a VP technical, it wouldn't have happened that way.
Guys,
Vote Zeno Wanange.
Guys,
Tell your club
Anyway,
cheers.
guys, as we come to an end,
Guys.
anything interesting on social media that you guys?
I need an invite. I need an invite to that dinner.
Please get doing one invite for.
Give me an invite.
Have they told you the dress code?
How come everyone wants a dinner? I saw someone complain on social
Guys,
media.
food.
They were not invited for the sevens.
Brian Muhomoza. Oh, Philip. You see, Philip said he was invited, but the invite came in.
Apparently,
3
he
hours.
had a team of 10 and they gave him 2 invites only, which people that invites that admitted only 2 people. So he
Guys,
says,
this is a party whereby there are birthdays. You get what I mean? Like,
So if some of the biggest stakeholders are not invited, who is invited?
see, that goes.
we hope
That,
we shall get
that's so
ours before
telling.
Friday.
guys, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure discussing rugby with you. Like always, we are laughing, throwing shots at each other, people we know, but it's always because we want to see ourselves get somewhere. We want to see the sport get in a better position, and its biggest stakeholders, the players, so they can benefit better from everything, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, is that correct?
Right.
Zeno, parting shots.
No, I think I've opened myself up for a lot of words my way. So I'll be just watching to see how
I'm
they
looking
come
forward to see how that will be going.
Yeah,
And
I know it's not going to be an easy.
And I must say, we are happy to have you, man. Everyone, when they say we're having Zeno, they're like, hey, is he coming? Is he on his way? And yeah. And we thank our camera crew. There is, soon you guys, you'll see him. You'll see the guy behind
One day we
this
should have
amazing
him just
box.
sit and really tell us about rugby from his perspective.
and he knows quite some info about
Yeah.
rugby, by the way.
Yeah, Bruno.
Well,
Parting shots, dinner, Vichi.
I don't look up to an invite. I mean, I'm just a fan. I'll wait to see the final winners, or even some of the chaotic and some categories that don't even make sense. I also look up to the deadline of the transfers. I just want to see an end to these rumors that some you are denying do.
What a
It
man.
has been very political today. Right?
It's Kawa.
I've learned.
Friday is not far.
Yeah.
Friday is not far.
Friday is not far.
Ruben.
Still your player.
Let me give my parting shots, yeah? You close this. Guys, it's always a pleasure being here. I like to have a chat, discuss rugby, learn. And yeah, guys, it's cold, man. I think we should go home.
Anyway, it's been a very, very interesting one. This is one of our what we call the rant casts. It has been particularly different from our usual rant cast, but we hope to have a lot more of them. Of course, we appreciate Zeno for making the time to come for this. The weekend, for those that are not invited for the awards, lots of rugby to look out for.
England is playing the All Blacks.
That will be a nice game. It's a game of the
For
weekend.
all those that have watched rugby for quite some time, they know that England is a bogey side for the All Blacks, and they know that themselves. So
Guys,
they'll
let's
come.
end this. Let's end this now.
But anyway, You guys can always catch us on our various social media platforms. We also have TikTok now, by the way, for the fairly younger people and for those that really like short videos. So you can check that out and follow us and engage with us.
Guys,
But
like, subscribe, comment.
Yeah.
We appreciate that feedback. It keeps us going. Let us know it always lets us know how we can do better, serve you better, discuss rugby better, and don't stop. Share, subscribe, like. We appreciate that.
Yeah, and we'll hopefully be having our own version of the awards for the season, with online polls running. So look out for that.
I saw the number 5. I liked it.
But anyway, thank you guys for watching this, and see you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe. Cheers. Thanks for listening in. Share with us your thoughts from today's episode, and don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.